What's going on, everyone? Jimmy Like Halo here, back again, and today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Sword. Now, believe it or not, this was actually the first Switch game I ever played because I got my Switch in 2019 for Christmas, and this is the game I got alongside with. So it was basically a month after it came out. And at first, when I was playing the game, um, I didn't really like it, but as I played it more, I started to like it more, and then once I finished it, I'm like, you know what? It's a pretty good game. Basically every single Pokemon, no matter which one it is, I can find enjoyment in it. I don't think this game is bad. It was definitely overblown, like everyone said. I'm sure nowadays, as with most things, people probably hate Scarlet and Violet more than they hate this game, so who knows. But anyway, kind of cool little cover art to have the whole region here. This is a very vertical region. And when the DLC Isle of Armor is right over here, and then the Crown Tundra is down here where you can't see. But yeah, that's what this looks like. Nothing hidden behind the cartridge. And yeah, let's show the game. So this was actually the first Pokemon game that when they announced it, I think they were showing it on a treehouse at E3 2019. It wasn't, and Nintendo wasn't really a part of E3 in these years, but their little version of E3 essentially. Um, they said that they weren't gonna have every single Pokemon from previous games in the game because it was too hard switching to HD models. And I understand like how many Pokemon there's been and how many there is now and how that could actually be hard, but that argument would definitely work like now, but I think in 2019 when we had Ultra Sun and Moon with every single Pokemon, and like for example with Pokemon X and Y, we had Generation 6 and all of those before that were just 2D sprites. So Generation 6 had to take all of those previous Pokemon, make them 3D and add the new ones and the megas. So it's like I feel like taking all of those and making it 3D models, especially from 2012 to 2013, they just had Black and White 2. That must have been hard. I would think that'd actually be harder than this, and yet they still had every single Pokemon accessible to use in that game. Whereas this game uses the exact same 3D models as Ultra Sun and Moon, but they're HD models. So they're the same models. There's something I must just not understand about game development where you can take 2D models, make them 3D for the first time. Well, since Coliseum. I mean, when I say 3D for the first time, I mean the mainline game, but I don't know, it just seemed really weird when you rub a lot of people the wrong way. So it is what it is, but either way, I just tried to ignore that fact and looked at the game as like a whole. I hate how there's no touchscreen support in these games, bro. It's so annoying. Anyway, looking at the game as a whole with its giant map, and overall, I think the game's fun. It's a Pokemon game, so whatever you expect, like going through towns, battling the gym. So they did have gyms back from Sun and Moon, which are better than the trials, but they kind of had like it was like a gym challenge, which is usually how it is, but like it was more trial esque kind of in this game. I feel like maybe that's just my opinion. I don't know, but had the gyms in this, battle them, and then you had the gimmick of this game was Dynamaxing, which I'll show, and you can make your Pokemon like Godzilla size for 3 turns. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, instead of megas, I thought it was a decent enough mechanic. Um, it's more balanced because it's only 3 turns, but it's also less fun because it's only 3 turns, only one time. But I don't know. Anyway, the Galar region is supposed to be like the UK, so that's why it looks the way it does. In case the first time they switched off of like Japan looking locations was in Black and White. It was supposed to be like America or New York part of it. How do I fly? I can't remember. It's been a while since I played this game. Okay, never mind. I just had to leave the building. I was stuck inside. Anyway, another big deal about this generation is the wild area. I believe that's what it was called. The wild area is essentially, as you can see here, a pretty big open area, and the only area in the game where you can actually turn your camera 360 degrees. It'd be nice if, like, well, I guess in Legends Arceus, the whole game essentially is a wild area with its open zones, but I was about to say it'd be nice if you could turn the camera angle in every, like, route, so it was like the whole thing was more open. I think this game had a good idea, right? Basically, they introduce a wild area in this game, and then they fully implement the whole game as a wild area, essentially, in Legends Arceus to be like that. But then this game also has like more traditional, like, scenic routes, as in when you're going down the routes of stuff, it actually, like, it looks detailed and there's stuff going on and whatnot. But essentially in this, you could throw your Pokemon, I believe. No? Do I have to run into them? Yeah, I have the new Pokemon game brain rot. Anyway, you can't just like encounter them in the world. It'll go into the battle like little mode, unlike newer games, and then you'll battle them kind of like there was some other, oh, like Persona 3. It's like the enemy will be in the overworld, but you like transition and then you're in it. Not that this super matters, it's just something I noticed. But yeah, so they scale with how many badges you have. The Pokemon will be level 60 as a cap when you have 8 badges. And then if you don't have enough badges and they're a higher level, it flat out, it lets you battle them. It does not let you catch them, which is really dumb. I feel like it'd be a cool skill check if it actually lets you catch them. I mean, it'd be hard. You wouldn't have access to the best balls and whatnot, but I think that'd be fair enough. But also the stars in this game, not super strong fan of any of them. I did pick the rabbit, as you can see. Can't even remember its name. Oh, Scorbunny. I do like him the best out of them, but still not my favorite starters. I think I like the Gen 7 and 9 starters more. I don't, the 9 starters aren't the greatest either, but anyway, Gen 8 starters are alright. I don't hate any of them. Definitely like Scorbunny the most, but yeah, so basically this game still has like the traditional routes and towns, as you can see from the town map. Quality of life thing, you can just kind of fly here. You don't need a Pokemon with fly, which is always nice. It was kind of like that in Gen 7 where they're steering towards that, but yeah. Anyway, you have the big boy arenas in this so they can fit the Dynamax, and you have a variety of regions that are snowy and grassy and all that. Ooh, and another thing I want to mention is Glimwood Tangle is a really visually good looking area. Let me fly there to show you. This is something I noticed. Like, people say, oh, the trees look so bad or whatever. The game genuinely, in certain areas like this, it genuinely looks like really cool. It's all colorful and glowy. As soon as I got here the first time, I was like, whoa, this looks sick. Because remember, I was coming from the 3DS, 240p to full 1080 on a screen. I'm like, sheesh, it does look good. But anyway, let me show you how the battles go with Dynamax, not just regular. The regular is basically just like Sun and Moon, except without Z moves. So, part of the DLC 2 is there was the Galarian Star tournament where you could compete with like different characters in the main game of the DLC in double battles, which is a cool little feature, and you unlock more as you play with all of them. It was just a little extra thing to do, but you can just battle it over and over. This is basically as close as you get to Elite Four rematches. So we're gonna just go with somebody. Let's go with my boy Peony, which is actually the brother of Chairman Rose, I think. I'm pretty sure. I think. Anyway, let's show you what Dynamax looks like. I think my starter should have its Dynamax form. I think there was a name when they specifically had a form. I don't think it was just Dynamax. I mean, he was like, I don't think it was Ultramax. I don't know. I'll remember. Okay, so basically when you fight, you'll have a Dynamax option right here. You just click on it, and then you'll see your special moves and version of those. And you just click to use it, and then your little, put them in the ball, use it, your little watch band, charge it up. Giant mode activated. Yep, and there's the G-Max form. That's what it was. Gigantamax. And they'll be giant. So he has a normal Dynamax will just be them, but really big. But then the G-Max forms are like megas, where they turn into like a different form with a special thing, and they'll have a special specific move for that. Basically the G-Max version of Pyro Ball. So There you go. That's what that looks like. And then time to show you what the DLC areas look like, because these were the first Pokemon games that have DLC instead of a third game. So if you go on the map, you move to the right, I'll move you over to the Isle of Armor here, which is not in itself really large. I mean, it looks smaller on the map than it actually is. It's a lot bigger when you're there. So I'll just kind of go through and show you what it looks like, basically. Yeah, so basically I was talking about earlier when this game has like the wild area was open, and how it had like traditional routes as well. Essentially the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra for that matter. The whole thing is a wild area, which really leads into Legends Arceus with the zones, and then Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with the whole thing just being open the whole time. So I think that part's really cool. It feels more like the whole world is big and open instead of just like a certain little area, which is nice. So they really, the more they went along, the more they started to flesh out their ideas. Also, it was the first time they let you have your Pokemon follow you again, but in this game they literally mess it up, and you'll be running and they'll just walk and then run and then walk. They don't even keep up with you consistently, so you barely even see them, bro. It's so stupid. What's nice with this DLC is let you customize your bike. So I got the red and black, really cool looking one as well. So that was nice. Because the regular bike thing looks kind of lame. Yeah, Rotom is just like does everything now. He's a Pokedex. He's your bike. I don't know why. He just kind of is. It's cool. And for this DLC, you get like Kubfu, I think it was, and then you'll go into 2 specific towers, and one of them will make you this form, and then the other will make you. It was like Strike or Surging Strikes was the water form, and then this one's the dark fighting form, and they both have their special like G-Max forms. And then if you make another profile on the game, you can actually get both of them and just play through the DLC on a different save file. Essentially, is how that works. Um, Overall, the Isle of Armor was really short. Like, it was nice to have a little bit extra content. I feel like the Isle of Armor, because the DLC was $30, right? Which is kind of expensive. But I think the Isle of Armor should have been the post game included in the game, and then the Crown Tundra should have just been like the only DLC, and then maybe it's like $15, $20. That would be a lot more fair, because the Crown Tundra had way more content in it. You got to catch like all the legendaries again. I know it's a common trope, but at least it was kind of cool. And there was new forms for the Kanto birds, and they're all in their each location. So one was at this really big looking tree here, which is where you meet them. You get Spiritomb in this by talking to a bunch of people next to a tomb, which is cool. The Galarian form of those legendary birds, here's the shiny version of Moltres, just looks like the original. But the other form, you got the Articuno here. These are the shinies. It was all 3 of these were part of an event. You just had to participate in the thing. So put a bunch of shinies in this game, because you could transfer a decent amount from Pokemon Home, from Bank and all that, which was nice. But all in all, new Regis as well. All in all, I like the game. I think the DLC for the Crown Tundra especially helped me actually like enjoy it more, because there's more to it and there's more to do, and I had fun doing it, like in the Crown Tundra. And like the Dynamax adventures were cool. It was like a little roguelite type of thing. But overall, I like these games. Sword and Shield. They're fun. They're still Pokemon. They're not the best Pokemon games, but that's okay. If this is your favorite, let me know. Generation 8 is something that, like, I feel like at first was pretty controversial, but then as it went on, people didn't hate as much, because they did add a lot more Pokemon back, and you didn't need to buy the DLC to access them. You could transfer them all in. They updated it, so it was better than just 400 something. It was like 600 something, I think, by the time it was done, which is still not as much as it should be, or could be, or maybe they added more. I don't know. But anyway, overall, I still like the games, even if they're not my favorites. Let me know what you think of these games and comment. If you like it, you hate it. But the next Pokemon video will be on Legends Arceus, which I have a lot to say about, because I really like that one. And yeah, thanks for watching another video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, and subscribe if you're new, if you want to, and then leave a like if you enjoyed the video. That's all. Thank you.